I'm grateful for the conversation we're having today, and I agree with a lot of my colleagues on their concerns about the authorizations for military force that have been out there for too long, and the needs to reform them and revoke them. And I guess I'd just like to, Secretary Sherman, dig a little deeper into
We'll see who's here or not. So if they're not here, we're just going to...
our current strategy with Iraq. And last week, President Biden announced that the United States would end its combat mission in Iraq. Can you describe what's the strategic objectives we now have in Iraq now that we're ending our combat mission?
Certainly, Senator. At the request of the Iraqi government, we have agreed that U.S. military forces will remain in Iraq to focus on training, enabling, and advising our Iraqi partners. This is not the end of our military mission in Iraq. As our consultations with the Iraqi government have highlighted, the progress of our Iraqi partners in the growth of their capabilities will allow for the full transition later this year of U.S. and coalition forces to a mission that is focused on training, enabling, and advisory tasks. I would defer to my DOD colleague for any additional details.
I agree very much with that summary. Thank you.
But Secretary Sherman, you would agree, though, that there's been some backlash or resistance from the Iraqi government about having combat troops stationed there, and obviously the more limited role of training and advising. But in terms of just our diplomatic relations with Iraq, they also agree they do not want us to have a combat mission in Iraq. Is that correct?
Indeed, this came out of discussions with the Iraqi government, and one of the points we've been making here today is that the Iraq government is a sovereign government that is fully formed, that our relationship has shifted over these decades from adversary to partner.
And so is the understanding that, is the 2002 AUMF really needed to ensure any of these strategic objectives? Is it necessary for what we're trying to achieve in Iraq?
It is not at all, Senator.
And in some ways, as I think Senator Kaine was making the point, it could actually be problematic in terms of Iraqi perceptions of the United States and having us label them in this manner with these past AUMFs. Am I correct in that opinion?
I would agree with you, Senator. Yes.
Okay. I would also like to just dig in a little bit to the idea that two different administrations now have pointed to more than just the AUMFs as a authorization to use their military force. The Trump administration used sort of an expanded interpretation to claim that the 2002 Iraq AUMF authorized its assassination of Soleimani. And Congress, though, and many other scholars said that the 2002 AUMF was not that broad. They did say that they had other authorities, but I just want to go back to this 2002 AUMF, which I agree doesn't serve a purpose to any of our strategic objectives. It clearly states that this is concerned with Saddam Hussein assembling weapons of mass destruction in defiance of the UN Security Council. And I guess I would like to know from the panel, do you believe that there is a viable argument that the 2002 AUMF authorizes at this point any use of force at all in terms of where things stand today? Do we have the cover of an AUMF to do military strikes within Iran? Excuse me, within Iraq?
The 2002 AUMF, in our view, is not necessary at all for our operations in Iraq.
And so would there, I guess maybe then what circumstances would enable or motivate the administration to use that 2002 AUMF for strikes in either Iraq or Iran? Can it in any way be stretched or bent or made to apply to any of our potential perceived need for conflicts in either of those countries?
I'm going to let the lawyers answer that, given the way you've asked the question, Senator, but I will say that we do not have a desire for conflict with either the Iraqi government that is a partner or Iran, which is certainly not a partner.
All right, I think my time is up, and but I would, Mr. Visek, I'd prefer if you do have a comment, I'd like to hear it, and then I will yield to Senator Schatz.
I would just say, Senator, that we do not need the 2002 AUMF for our mission in Iraq. We have the 2001, and for defense purposes, we also would have Article 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,